Hello everyone and welcome back to this next war number 9 of season 32. Now we're up against the Space Bastards. They're a pretty good alliance. We know they're capable of beating us here, so we need to be on our A game, or at least so we think. As it turns out, it's a pretty comfortable victory, but never mind. I am on path 6 here, as you can see in section 1, against Magneto. And this is possibly the worst Tiger gameplay you're going to see. I don't mean because I die, spoiler, I do solo this fight, but it is the sloppiest, most disgusting Tigra anyone's ever seen waste anyone's time in an Alliance War video. I'm feeling fine, and it goes wrong here when I go to heavy to miss his projectile and counter, lovely stuff, and I just eat it to the face. And I feel like such an idiot. I feel so stupid that I go into sort of complete tortoise mode for the rest of this fight. So I'm thinking, no, I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to sit here and hit this man until he dies. And that is exactly what I do. And I'm afraid you have the privilege of watching that happen for the next 2 minutes. Of me agonizingly baiting out. I see there, I should have thrown the SB1 into his block. Reactivated my my Tiger stance, the aggressive one. But I don't. And yes, you'll see me here bait out SB1 for ages. And rinse and repeat. So I'm just going to fast forward the rest of this absolutely abysmal fight because it's not worth anyone's time. And we'll start talking about the next fight now. So as I finish off an SB2 and finally finish him, my next fight is an Icarus, which is quite interesting because I've not fought Icarus or even thought about him since he was first released as a boss in the EQ a few months ago. And I actually this is actually a pretty good placement for Icarus, and I kind of want to talk about it before I start the fight. So the thing that's difficult about Icarus is that, as you'll see here, he gains 1 energize whenever either champion hits into each other's block with a light attack. Now, what that means is that when he does a parry at the start of when you go to parry him at the start of the fight, or after a combo when he goes to hit you. And normally we will block to parry someone after we've done a 5-hit combo. If he throws a light attack and that attack is parried, he will gain 1 of these energized buffs. And what these buffs do, if he has any of them at all, is that it increases his combat power rate as a defender by 35%, which is quite annoying. But the thing you have to pay attention to is the thing that what the text says at the bottom of that paragraph, when it says this cannot be reduced by outside sources. So what this means is that the node that he's on, which is Power Focus 2, not only is it going to give him even more combat power rate when he's below 2 bars of power, but also, normally with Power Focus 2 you can just keep hitting them when they're below 2 bars. Here that's not going to happen. That's not going to be the case because he's going to have a load of extra combat power. So my strategy going in here is to prevent him from getting any of these energized buffs. So basically, only parrying him when he dashes at me from a distance, because then he can't be doing a light attack. And that's exactly what you see me do there. So at the start of the fight I backed off, and thereafter a combo I backed off. Now the other thing about Icarus is that he puts this debuff on you, which basically just means you have to throw a special before that debuff ends. And I'm not too worried about that because if you're Tiger you're throwing lots of special attacks, so it's bad. His SP2, if you're not ready for it, can be annoying, but you can just block it, and that's sort of fine. But I'm also prepared and ready to counter his SP1 should he ever throw it, but I think he only does that toward the end. There, I throw my SP1 into his block just because I know I'll be unblockable, and I just don't want to mess around with that debuff. I can't actually remember what it does if you let it expire, but something bad. Now there, I miss my initial parry, re-parry, and then I have the energize. He has the energized buff on him. Pain in the ass, but as you'll see the fight's almost over, so it doesn't really matter. There I do a nice SB1 counter with the heavy, throw my SB2 and finish him off. So I took about a quarter of my health as block damage from the SB2 with a bit of extra juice from the aggression prowess, but not too bad. That fight, if you just went into it not knowing what was going on, I suspect that could have gone quite badly, but it's a nice example of doing your research and figuring out what can go wrong. Now our next fight is Dr. Doom on node 22. I've taken this fight before, but never against a rank 4 Doom, which is what this one is. So there definitely is some potential for things going wrong here. In fact, the last time I did this fight, things did go wrong. He was on 1%, and that's right, I threw my SP2 too late, and he parried it and then punished me, and I lost a load of health. Well, if that had been a rank 4 Doom, that could have been an issue. You'll see there I have Mr. Fantastic pre-fights from an Alliance mate. So I have both Petrify and Suppress. Suppress is going to be useful just to stop him from throwing too many specials, and the Petrify is very useful because it means he won't have the Aura of Hazaroth on him after he's thrown his SP1. I did not have that in the first time I fought this guy here, and that was a real pain. It really slowed me down because I couldn't do parry heavy anymore, or indeed throw specials reliably. So as you'll see here, I'm about to push him to SP1. He's going to throw it. You'll see I'm missing so many parries here. I'm not feeling great in this fight for some reason. Fundamentals aren't there. He throws SP1, no aura, which means I can keep going. It's extremely useful to have that here. Spidey 2099 can do the same thing himself from his slow from the SP3, but obviously that's a long time to get to your SP3. And it's there I just miss a parry, right? So really not great, but that's fine. My indestructible boost sort of saved me, not taking too much damage. Missed another parry there, had to reparry him. But get off a nice big SP2 and it does loads of damage. Backup recovery gets completely reversed because of all those power reverse debuffs he's got on him. It's got petrifies and exhaustions and withers and all sorts. Here I throw the SP1, partly just to get a refresh on the Mr. Fantastic debuffs, but also because the physical vulnerability debuffs are kind of useful, and if you dash back, as here, you'll see that little web timer beneath my health. That is an extended pause on my debuffs, which is something that I'm trying to do a bit more with him, Spidey 2099. I'm used to doing his SP2 for loads of damage, but the SP1 has significant utility to it. There are those times when you want to pause your debuffs for longer. So I do it here, and of course it also contributes to the extra damage from the SP2, because that does more damage per unique debuff, so it's good to have them there. So overall that fight went much better than the rank 3, well, other than I kept missing parries, but there we go. That's day 1 of war, and now we rejoin the action here on the run up to the boss, as has been the case so often in this season. I'm on path 8 in section 2, and we have a Sasquatch here. Now this isn't a brilliant placement because he doesn't gain any buffs, so he doesn't really interact with the node, so it's basically just a Sasquatch. And as I fought one of these before, as we said, I fought him before, Spidey 2099 is a great counter because once you've landed one heavy attack, he can't do any of his normal Sasquatch stuff, so he just becomes a big hunk of meat to get through. There I miss a parry because apparently I can't do it anymore. And my strategy here, I used a Power Slot 1 boost because I want to get to an SP3, and there I see I parry to do a parry heavy, and there's nothing happens. I'm obviously having issues this fight, indeed this war. The reason I wanted to use an SP3 here is because the only thing that's going to kill me in this fight is if it's the global giving him unstoppable. But once I've applied the slow from my SP3, that's not going to happen. I think you'll see me in this fight take it unnecessarily slowly. I think I'm just vaguely... I'm sort of off my game with all these missed parries and things. So I'm just trying to be as slow as possible. I have it in my head that I need to stack debuffs because eventually he'll start getting lots of regen, and I'm thinking to myself I need to reverse or mitigate that regen with a Despair Mastery. So that's why I'm going for parry heavy here when I sort of needn't. I should probably just be hitting him, throwing SP2 and winning, but as you'll see I'm taking it very slowly, way too slowly. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here. I guess I'm baiting out the SP1, but this is no need because the SP2 is much easier to punish. And indeed I'm not punishing the SP1 in case I get parried. Finally I launch an SP2, does a decent amount of damage. And yeah, here I'm sort of thinking, oh, I have to be really cautious and not hit him too much. I don't know why, I'm obviously just not playing very well. And I'm throwing more heavies for no reason at all. There I do punish because of course the spacing worked out that I don't think I can get parried there. I'm doing a decent job of pausing the debuffs, the slows down to its last quarter, so I could be doing better. And I think here I'm going to throw an SP2 and that should finish it. So pointlessly slow, but we got it down. Now my next fight is this Venom that everyone keeps placing on this node, and as long as they keep placing Venom, they will keep sending me to kill Venom with CGR. You've seen me do this fight a whole bunch of times. Here it is slightly different for two reasons. First of all, that Venom is unduped, which means he's going to start with fewer buffs, which is nice. And secondly, because I'm trying to save them, and because Mastery Swaps are no longer free, I'm not putting on half suicides for this fight. I'm not using the Cosmic Power Boosts. which should make this fight incredibly easy. Here I push him into an SP2, which I'm not necessarily wanting or expecting to do. It's fine, I just block it, and my normal strategy is to throw the SP1 to strip his debuffs. I have to wait out the global there, and I do manage, because it's unblockable, I know I can throw it, so manage to do all that. And normally I just push myself to SP2 here and I throw it and the fight's basically over, but here, without the suicides, oh there he gained unstoppable again, which is pretty annoying. Without the suicides and without the power back boost, doesn't really do anything. And here I think, no, this should kill him, let's do it again. So I throw my SP2 and it does nothing. So yeah, this fight would normally be way over by now, but I have to finish it out. Block the SP2, I'm definitely not going to try and evade that. Throw my SP1, get the judgment on him, sorry, the damnation, strip all his buffs. Here, take some hits because I suck, and hit him a few more times and finish off with an SP1. So, didn't take any significant damage, but still not clean. Yeah, that's the theme of this war, which is not clean, and you'll see that going ahead in the next two fights. Now, matching up nicely with our Icarus, we are now fighting a Circe, who is on the safeguard node. The thing about Circe is that she gains a glancing debuff when you hit her, and luckily Tigra is going to basically stop that from happening, because of course we have seen this neutralized passive come into play in this meta, and she's going to use it here. The fight starts pretty well. I know I want to push her into the corner and give her an SP1, and I practiced this in duels many times, so I was very happy with it. When she throws the SP1, you can do the super scroll, dash in, hold heavy. Oh look, it didn't work that time, and stuns me, and she combos me. Luckily she only does medium, she's feeling kind there. And she then does a heavy and gains this glancing buff, and I'm not even going to try and attack her when she has glancing up. Well, I know I can just wait it out, so I just do that. It fuels MD, because I have placed MD with Tigra, for the rare times when buffs actually expire. And there I can kind of go back to the strategy, so there it works perfectly. And I'm able to... there I should throw SP1, but I don't. I think I'm vaguely trying to build to an SP2. Bait out the SP1, and eventually she decides to throw it. And we do the same thing again. So, dash in, hold heavy, and there we go. I'm very tempted to throw another heavy, but I'm still scarred from that red skull, so I don't. Here, I want to combo the heavy in the corner into the SP2, which is why I'm waiting. Heavy, dash back, and then get the SP2 off. This would probably end the fight if I had my stances up, but I don't. There again, I should have thrown the SP1 because it's blockable, but I don't. Again, I'm just not on top form this war. Dash in, heavy, and counter. And there I do another dash back and throw the SP2. So I think this ends the fight. Oh no, it doesn't. Fine, one more heavy. There we go. And that's Circe down. And we now come to the boss. This is a Super Scroll boss. You guys have seen me do this before. Yet here we've run into some problems. This is the fight where it's impossible to die, and well, things get sketchy here. You'll see that I'm taking it with the brute force node up, which shouldn't be a problem. I've done it before. That mastery change was me throwing on suicides because, of course, you heal from them, and I get a load of benefit. Throw on the advanced power boost because we're using the same strategies before. Race to the SP3 to put the slow on him, and then the fight's in hand. And this starts pretty perfectly, actually. You'll see me there. I take lots of hits into blocks, lots of parries and reparries and things, and there I get hit by the heavy because I just can't not do that against Skull, Super Skull. See there, he's at his 5 Furies, and I know I can hit him freely now, without the armor up buffs giving him unstoppable. There the global does kick in and I get lucky. There it kicks in again, and I choose not to punish because I know I'll get smacked. But I can just wait everything out. Here I can see the falter's about to land, so I do my usual thing, dash in, dash out, dash in, push myself to SP3 and throw it. So pretty nice clean start to the fight. I mean, I got hit once, so it's not clean, but good enough. We've taken barely any damage, we've landed our slow, and at this point I'm thinking, yeah, the fight's in hand, there's no way anything could possibly go wrong here. So we start doing our normal thing. You'll see here, one of his things has vanished, there's a little hole there, and then it comes back. That will continue to be a problem later in this fight. I do my normal thing, dash in, dash out, dash in, and I think here I throw SP1 for the exact same reason as I did against Doom, because I'm looking to get the extended refresh. So there I do get the extended refresh, so that the slow is going to take a while. to go away. Now there, I screw up the falter timing and I do miss. I get comboed, but again, it doesn't matter. This person, do you see I got the weakness debuff on me? This person placed with that mastery that gives you the weakness debuff, which was a nice bit of healing. And here I'm hitting into his block, trying to bait the SB1. He has power gain, pushes himself to SB2. I dash out, and I get smacked by the SB2. And you'll see my health just goes down and down and down. Here I throw the SP2 to give myself some adrenaline healing, but I don't get the full force of it because Falter gets in the way, because I'm not watching Falter at that point. I'm thinking here, oh crikey, I'm losing taking a lot of damage, especially because all those incinerates are decreasing my block proficiency, and he's sitting into my block, and of course brute force is there as well, and suddenly I'm on about a third or less than a third of my health, and I'm still degenning here because he's not throwing his special, and I'm thinking, oh god, am I going to die to this fight? How embarrassing. I also notice here that my slow debuff has vanished. Now here I'm hitting him, but I'm scared because there's no slow debuff, so I back off. I don't actually notice or it doesn't fully sink in that I think my slow debuff is there. It's just missing. It's a visual bug. But I'm not taking any chances, especially as I can't see when it's refreshing or not, so I work my way back up to SB3 and throw it. That is a pretty annoying bug, the fact that those icons vanish. It significantly slows me down here. But it's fine, we can kind of claw this back. We're back on schedule, we have a new slow debuff, or possibly refresh the old one, I don't know. Here I'm fully focused on the falter timer, because I think it's the only thing that can kill me now, as long as I play this fight properly. So there I hit into his block to clear it, and we can kind of do a roll thing, dash in, dash out, dash in. And I also notice here that the timer is against us. We need to start using SP2s, stop messing around with SP1s and all that stuff, because our damage has been seriously hampered by our setbacks. I'm not doing a brilliant job of pausing the slow. Here you see it's down to its last third or so, but I'm on an SP2, but see, I see the falter. I don't use the throw it immediately. That's the one thing that probably saved me this fight, paying attention to the falter at the end. There's a lot of damage. I see also I've regen quite a lot from all his debuffs, so I'm back in a pretty good spot here. I'm pausing those debuffs regularly, and all I need to do here is work my way back up to an SP2 and the fight's over. And indeed, after he's thrown this SP1, which I think he does presently, punish it in the normal way. There I back off because I can, oh I don't, but that's fine. Bait out a heavy, and throw the SP2 and finish it. So yeah, that was a pretty sketchy final boss there. It would have been awful. I died there. Such an easy fight, and yeah, almost went very poorly. But we made it through. Hooray. We've broken our streak of dying every war. And that's it for this war. I won't show you the score because our opponents didn't do so well, but we managed to win, which was great. We're now more securely masters than we were before, so let's hope we can stay there. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta!